Guys, we are officially in draft week. We are here. We have finally made it. Hallelujah. And guess what, guys? Today, we are going to tell you exactly how the Indianapolis Colts can absolutely knock the 2025 NFL draft out of the park. Let's get into it. What is going on, Colts Nation, and welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Your guys, Cody and Derek. Oh, Derek, we've made it. Finally,
we're here.
We're almost there. We are officially in draft week. It has been a long time coming, my friend, but we have made it. So over all of the draft analysis, all the awful takes on social media. I'm ready, man. I don't know about you. I can tell you're ready. I'm ready. We're both ready for some answers here for the Indianapolis Colts. So, man, there's a lot of ways I think the Colts can go, though, here in the 2025 draft. But what can the Colts do specifically to make sure that they not only have a good draft, but they absolutely knock it out of the park? So, I want to turn it over to you here, Derek, because we've talked about this first pick a lot. Like, there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of players' names brought up over the last month or two, especially that are potentially linked to the Indianapolis Colts that people have talked about. But in your mind, in round one, to start it out, what do the Colts need to do for you to say A+, like this is the guy? What needs to happen, and what do you think the Indianapolis Colts need to do for you to say that was a fantastic day one for them?
Well, I think that the number one choice for me would be to get a tight end. I think that in order to feel good about what I'm looking forward to for this Colts team moving forward is finding that weapon at tight end for this offense that this offense desperately needs. Right now, you don't have one. You haven't had a legitimately really good tight end for over a decade. The last time that you invested some serious draft capital into a tight end was Dallas Clark many, many years ago, and we know how that turned out. So I feel like it's one of the only positions that the Indianapolis Colts are at right now where it absolutely 100% needs to be addressed, and not only addressed, but also is to guarantee that you get your true number one. So two guys that come to mind with that, Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland. Would love to get Tyler Warren over anyone else, but if you did also get Colston Loveland, then I would not hate that pick either. Definitely would see both of them being able to, add a spark to the offense for the Indianapolis Colts. Two guys that, can be great route runners. They're great after the catch. And, they just add other elements to this offense that we haven't had in years past.
Absolutely. I think you're absolutely spot on there. Actually getting a legitimate tight end one, Derek, I think is going to be just massive for this team. I mean, frankly, Derek, the Colts haven't had a tight end that you would categorize as one of the top at their position, honestly, probably since 2018 Eric Ebron. Like, it's been that long, right? If you remember, Eric Ebron had double-digit touchdowns. Him and Andrew Luck had that special connection in 2018. But really, since then, Derek, it's been pretty lackluster, especially the last couple years, right? I mean, you got a couple good years from a couple guys, right? But it hasn't been anywhere near what you need. So getting a legitimate receiving threat and just all-around tight end for the next potential decade, I think will go a long way here for the Indianapolis Colts. And frankly, when you look at that position versus all the other positions, it's very obvious that that is very much lacking, like we've talked about a lot this offseason. But, okay, so you get your tight end. Now, moving on to day two. So rounds 2 and 3 here for the Indianapolis Colts. There's a lot of needs they still have, right? You talk about, I'll just name them here, not in any particular order. On the offense, you could talk about running back. You could talk about offensive line. On the defense, you could probably talk about the defensive line, both in the interior and on the edge. Linebacker's an obvious need. And then some people would even throw out safety as potentially like a depth sort of need for the Indianapolis Colts. So needless to say, there are a lot of ways the Colts could go with these two picks here. But in your mind, what do these two picks need to do for you to say, absolutely, this is a great day two for the Colts as well?
Would absolutely also love if Ballard could find a way to add an additional third. Yeah, like a second or third round pick in this draft would very much be helpful. I don't know if or how that would happen, but would still love to see it either way. But if I'm looking at it here, I'm looking at linebacker here, Cody. In my opinion, you have to go with a linebacker here in one of these two rounds here. Cody, I know that we have said that linebacker is one of the few positions where we have actually trusted Chris Ballard to get guys later in drafts. But the difference now with what it has been before is, as we said before, this is not getting a linebacker and then hoping 2-3 years down the line that linebacker is going to turn into something. We can't wait that long. We have to see a linebacker come in and do something now. Like, has to be that true number 2 guy in this system. And some guys that I think you could see in day 2 for the Indianapolis Colts, if you're looking at linebackers' sake, a couple names are Carson Schweisinger and also looking at Demetrius Knight Jr. out of South Carolina. Both guys that are very smart, guys that are great in pass coverage, which, Cody, we've been saying we're tired of the run-stopping linebackers. Great. It's awesome that those situations can happen, but our linebackers have been getting toast for many years now, and we're tired of it, and we want to see guys actually be able to cover somebody on defense. So that's one position I'm looking at. And then I'll be honest, man, it could go either way for me here at either offensive line or running back. It really just depends, Cody, on how the draft boards fall. Because I have a lot of names at the offensive line in that second or third round that if they're available. Wyatt Millum from West Virginia. Ratledge, right? From Ratledge from Georgia. And, honest to God, Cody, if somehow, some way, Donovan Jackson in some way, shape, or form fell, then I would be willing to take that. Again, like I said, there's a lot of different offensive linemen that could fall there that I would love to see. Who knows? Maybe a Jalen Walker falls. I doubt that he does, but I'm just bringing up names. The only way I take a running back that early, Cody, is if a Travion Henderson falls to 45. I don't think he does fall to 45, but in the off chance that he does, then I'd be willing to do that. But then again, I've said it before, the Colts can afford to wait quite a few rounds later to still get a good running back in this draft class. So I don't anticipate them doing much. But if they were to come away with a decent offensive lineman to help with your depth at whatever position you're worried about the future of, and a linebacker to pair alongside Zaire Franklin, then I feel pretty good about day 2. What's going on, everybody? Just wanted to say this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Guys, everyone wants to try to take care of their bodies and do the best that they can to help take care of themselves. But that also starts with your mind as well. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And of course, when you're doing potential therapy, in-person therapy can cost anywhere up to $100 to $250 per session, guys. That number can add up very quickly. But with BetterHelp, you can save on average up to 50% per session. With BetterHelp, you can pay a flat fee for weekly sessions, which can help you save on costs and time as well. Therapy should feel accessible, guys, not a luxury. You should be able to talk to someone the way you want to, when you want to. With online therapy, you can get quality care at a price that makes sense for you. Regardless, guys, if you have ever been in therapy or not, it is important to be able to get everyday stresses and sometimes even traumas that we experience off our chest and be able to talk to someone and go through those stresses. Your mental health is super important. We're all dealing with something. So take advantage and be able to get ahead of what's might be bothering you. Remember, guys, your well being is worth it and it's now within reach. Visit betterhelp.com/juice today to get 10% off of your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/juice.
Yeah, I think linebacker's a must, like you said. And typically, when Chris Ballard has drafted linebackers on day two, they've come in and had a pretty immediate impact, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, we know Leonard there back in 2018, the impact he had, defensive rookie of the year. And then Bobby Okereke coming in had a pretty big impact. It felt like pretty early for him as well. So, both those guys, when the Colts have actually taken linebackers on day two, they found some actual studs there. So I definitely would trust them to be able to find another one there on day two. And then I think you're right, like offensive line, at the absolute worst, a quality depth guy on that offensive line, if not a guy that's competing for that starting right guard spot, right? That's I think where you're looking at. But again, that's the ultimate question that we've thrown around, right? What do the Colts think about Matt Gonsalves? Where do they envision him long term in this offensive line? Because if it's staying at tackle, then you go get a guard on day two. But if it's the opposite, then you go get a tackle, right? So there's a lot of ways here. But regardless, I think that guy is still competing. Say, for example, Matt Gonsalves goes down to guard. The Colts decide long-term they want him at guard, and they draft a kid to play tackle and kind of be that swing tackle. Who's not to say that he couldn't, potentially compete with Gonsalves for that right guard position even this year? Right, because that's a pretty high pick there. Gonsalves was a third-round pick last year as well. So why not let those two compete it out for that right guard position? And at the absolute worst, you have a quality depth guy there that can play both spots. So I think that makes a ton of sense there for the Indianapolis Colts to go linebacker and offensive line in whatever order they choose here, because I think Demetrius Knight's more of a third-round guy, while obviously Schlesinger's more of a second-round guy around that 45 range for the Colts for sure. And then when you move to day three here, Derek, so let's just say offensive line, linebackers off the board, obviously tight ends off the board as well. You mentioned running back, so I think we'll kind of start there. There's a lot of good running backs in this class, and I think realistically, Derek, when you're looking at running back, I mean, you have two quality. Obviously, you have Jonathan Taylor, who's a top 10 back, if not top 5 back when he's healthy. You have Khalil Herbert, who has proven to be an effective, change of pace type of guy. And you obviously have, another guy there in Tyler Goodson, who I think's a pretty solid RB3. So, it's still a need, but also you look at it and say, like, hey, we have some guys in here, if they need to, that can step up and play. But you still would like to draft a running back, considering how deep this class is and how many guys, I know you've said it countless times, players that you realistically can get on day three that could play. If they were forced into the starting lineup, they could play and be effective, right? And even some teams might be getting some like day one starters. Obviously not the Colts unless something catastrophic happens. But the big idea is that the fact that there are some quality players available here in day number three. So when you're looking at running back, Derek, what are some other positions? You maybe mentioned running back here and give a little bit of your thoughts on some players, but then what are some other positions as well that you're looking at here for the Colts to kind of round it out on day three?
Yeah, so some running backs that I could see day three. Again, it really is all going to depend on how the board falls. And that's the thing. We know that running backs are going to be a dime a dozen here. I mean, there's so many guys, Cody, that definitely could be needed. And like you said, the Colts don't need a day one starter. They just need a guy that, can take a few snaps per game away from Jonathan Taylor. And, if something were to happen, because, Jonathan Taylor, he tends to miss 5 or 6 games a season because sometimes those ankles start flaring up on him. And it'd be nice to have, along with Khalil Herbert, having another guy that can also carry the rock a little bit too. Some names I like to think of, RJ Harvey is one. He's climbing up boards. Devin Neal from Kansas, another name there. Ollie Gordon II from Oklahoma State is another one there. I know Damian Martinez is another name that a lot of people are bringing up as well. So, like I said, guys, those almost every single one of those guys is going to be either a late third or is going to be in that fourth or fifth round. So there's lots of opportunities. Like you said, Cody, I love this running back class so much. I love this class so much. I kind of wish that the Colts needed a running back in this draft class, like really bad, because if you needed a true number one running back, this is the class to get one because there's just so many of them. I mean, Cody, in all honesty, RJ Harvey, Devin Neal, these guys can be RB2s for most teams in the NFL right now. And that's what you're going to likely get. You're picking in the fourth or fifth round at running back. You could get a guy that could realistically be a running back too for a lot of different teams in the NFL at this moment. That's just how deep and how strong this running back group is. So I love it. Definitely feel like the Colts should be looking to try and add to that group, regardless if they have Herbert and Jonathan Taylor there. I look for them to also double dip at offensive line. You still need depth at a lot of different places there. Even if you take a guy early, potentially taking over for that right guard position, potentially, even if he doesn't, you still need depth at tackle as well. And you do need depth at guard as well. So, you kind of need to just play your cards the way you do and then just get some guys to fill out the back end of that roster there. As far as any other players there, obviously you want to try to get a defensive lineman. I potentially would think defensive lineman could potentially be a third round option. I could also argue that it's a fourth round option too. This is a very deep defensive line group as well, especially on the interior of the defensive line. So definitely would look to see them acquire someone there. And then just whatever corner / safety might be best for you in the long term there, would just go with a guy with some insane traits to try to round it out there.
Awesome. Well, guys, that'll do it for this one. Let us know your thoughts here for the Indianapolis Colts when it comes to how you think they can also ace the 2025 NFL Draft. Are there any needs that you would add to the ones that we did not mention here in this video and in this episode? Let us know all those things in the comments down below. If you guys haven't already, be sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, all that good stuff so that you can stay in the loop for draft weekend. Guys, we're going to be going live for all 3 days of the NFL draft, so you guys definitely want to join us for that. As we are going to hang out together, just have a watch party together. It's going to be awesome. So you guys definitely do not want to miss that 3-day event. It's going to be a blast. It's probably my favorite time of the year personally from a content standpoint because it's 3 straight days of talking NFL Colts football. So you can never go wrong there. But yeah, guys, let us know all your thoughts there on how you believe the Colts can ace the 2025 NFL Draft. But guys, that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Colts.